Welcome to the complete WooCommerce payment gateway development. This course is going to teach you how to build a payment gateway for WooCommerce WordPress plugin. That is, people will be able to use your payment gateway to purchase an item and check out from the store. So to get started with, we are going to be using Paystack. If you don't have an account, you can create an account, and if you already have an account, you log in and navigate to your test key, and also navigate to developer documentation. So on the developer documentation page, we are going to be using the accept payment. Yeah, that's what we're going to be working with. We're going to be working with the simplest method so that you have the full understanding. Then you can go further and do the advanced method. So once you navigate to the payment acceptance, then the next thing you need to do is to click on accept payment. And on clicking on accept payment, over here you're going to see what we have. We have the pop-up, that is the Paystack pop-up. I believe you have an idea on how this work in general, but this is what we are going to be using. We are going to be working with the JavaScript, what's it called, the JavaScript functionality. Then after the payment is made and is completed, then we also verify the payment using a verify payment endpoint, which is what we have here, this verify endpoint. So those are the two things we are going to be doing in this video. Okay, so we accept payment and we also verify payment using WooCommerce integration. So without further ado, let's dive into WordPress WooCommerce development and let's make it happen. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. So in this section, we are going to be setting up our development environment. So what you need to do to get started with the WooCommerce payment gateway, the first thing is making sure you have VS Code installed. VS Code, you can go to VS Code landing page, which we ask you to download for your operating system. So you can download, for Windows, Mac, Linux, any operating system you are currently working with. So once that is done, then the next thing is to make sure you have a local server. So I'm currently running on MAMP server. As you can see this over here, MAMP server. So you can also download MAMP server. So search MAMP server. And over here, you are going to find the MAMP server landing page. So click on free download and you can download it. And also, you can go for XAMPP. Some people go for XAMPP server. So you can call it XAMPP, you can call it XAMPP, anything, any way you can pronounce it. So I actually use XAMPP for my Windows system, but migrated to Mac, I had to go for MAMP server, which is more flexible. Okay, so anyone that works for you is fine. You download it and it's great. So the next one that you will also like to download is WordPress itself. So you navigate to wordpress.org. As you can see, wordpress.org, or just search wordpress.org. Then here you can find it, wordpress.org. Go to wordpress.org landing page. Once you get to this page, you can click on this Get WordPress. When you click on Get WordPress, you are going to be taken to this page. And as you can see, the current version, as at the time I'm recording this video, is version 6.4.3. So you can go for this version, download it, and it is fine. So I already downloaded it. So once it's downloaded, then the next thing you would like to do is to make sure your server is installed. Once your server is installed, navigate to where you install your server. So in my own case, my server is installed on my my directory, that is the parent directory. So on my parent directory, you can find the application folder. But instead of me going to this application folder, which is what we have here, this is the open application folder. But instead, I will go to the application section, that is the application where application is being installed on my MacBook. So for those who are running on Windows, you just navigate to where you install your XAMPP. If you have any issue regarding to that, please drop a comment into the box, and I will do my best to make sure you guys are able to install it. So you click on the application. then scroll down to where you install your MAMP server. And if it is SHAM server you also install, you can also do the same thing. As you can see, this is MAMP server. Then when you enter the MAMP server, double click on it, then you can find your directory. So let me close all these directories so you have the same thing, that is the same folder that I'm having here. So as you can see now, we have the bin, we have the CGI bin, we have the conv, we have the DB, but all this doesn't really concern you. But what really matters here is the htdocs. So the htdoc is like the public HTML where the entry into the server where things we start, where things began. Okay, so you click on the htdoc, and on the htdoc folder you create your WordPress folder. So I assume you do not have WordPress folder in your htdoc, so you create a WordPress folder. Then when you create this WordPress folder, then the downloaded WordPress from the wordpress.org, then you copy it and drop it into this folder. That is, you drop the installation file into this folder. This is the installation file. Then when you drop it here and navigate, so let me just do that for you so that we are on the same page. So I'm going to create a new folder, and the new folder will be WordPress install. Let me just call this, don't let me use WordPress install, let me use WordPress 2, so we are on the same page. So WordPress 2. Now let me also download this file so you guys, we have the full understanding. I don't want a situation whereby you are not getting it. So let me save this on my desktop. Now it's installing. So while that is installing, make sure your server is also installed. So in my own case, my server is already installed and my server is started. But in case your server isn't started yet, let me stop my server and start all over and show you how you can go about it. So let's say your server is closed, is not being started. The next thing you would like to do once you install your server is to search it. So click on this search icon and search for MAMP server. MAMP server. Then you click on the free version. Don't click on the pro. Click on the free version. When you click on the free version, then the free version will pop up. Once it pops up, you go to preferences, and once you enter preferences, you go to the ports. And as you can see, our Apache port is 8888, and also our Nginx port is 8888, and our MySQL port is 8889. So these ports does not really matter for WordPress. You can just point it with localhost, but for the URL sake, we need this port. This port 888 is very important for the URL. So you can copy your ports, any port you use, click on Ctrl+C, then close the preferences section and make sure you start your server. Now as you can see, my server has started. Immediately your server starts up, it's going to load this default page for you in your default browser, which is normal thing. So close it and let's check our WordPress if it's downloaded. Okay, it's almost done. Yeah, our WordPress is almost downloaded. So let's wait for that to be completed. But make sure you already have your folder created under your htdoc folder, which is very important. Okay, so my WordPress has been downloaded, which is in my desktop. So I'm going to open my desktop in a new tab. My desktop is now open in a new tab, which is this file. So I'm going to extract it into the same directory. Now it has been extracted, which is this folder. I'm going to enter into this folder, then copy everything I have inside this folder. Ctrl+C. If I Ctrl+C this, okay, so before I Ctrl+C this file, there is an htaccess in this folder that is not visible because I'm running on MacBook, and if you are running on Windows, it is very possible that your .htaccess is invisible. So for you to make it visible on those who are running on MacBook, use Command-Shift-G to drop down. Sorry, use I think it's Command-Shift. I see G. Yeah, G is to open a new area. Okay, Command-Shift dot. So that should bring it. Command-Shift dot. Okay, nothing is coming up. htaccess. That should drop down the htaccess file. Okay, nothing is coming. Is it because we haven't installed it yet? Okay, let's just go on Google and search how to load, okay, how to show hidden files. Okay, let's say in Mac, how to show hidden files in Mac. Okay, Command Shift period. Yeah, it's correct. So it looks like our HT access hasn't been created yet because I'm clicking on the Command Shift period now. That is full stop. It is not loading the HT access. So let's just copy everything we have. Control C and go to our HT doc. Then go to the folder you created earlier, which is WordPress 2. Open, then double click on the WordPress 2. Then drop in the file you copied. So my file has been dropped. Then I'm going to sort this file by type. Let's sort it by kind, which we have folder and we have our files. So now we have our folder WordPress 2 in our htdoc. Then the next thing you like to do after your server has been started is to navigate to localhost and make sure you specify the port we discussed about the other time, port 8888, then slash WordPress 2. So WordPress 2, click on enter, and that should load something for us. As you can see, this is the setup page. So you click on continue and you click on let's go. Now over here we have what? We have WordPress database specification. So we need to specify the database we want to use. So since your server is already started, we can also load in our database server. So we are going to navigate to localhost 8888, then /php my admin. Click on enter and this page will load up. So once this page loads up, click on new and let's call this folder, let's call this database WordPress 2. So when you type in WordPress 2, this should create WordPress 2 for us. So click on create and we have WordPress 2. Then the WordPress 2 will be specified here. So WordPress 2 and the username by default, all local server uses the same thing. So the username is root and the password is also root. So if I show it, you are going to see that as it is root. Then the database host is always local, so don't bother about that. So click on submit, click on run installation, and this should load. Now we are now on the welcome page. So let's call this test WooCommerce. Test WooCommerce, and the username will be admin. Let's just call it admin, and the password, let's use admin. I just want something very simple. So confirm weak password. Yeah, I think email is also kind of important. So let's call it admin at admin.com. This is not bad. So don't discourage search engine in case you want to migrate to live server. So this is our details. So I'm going to click on installed WordPress. So WordPress is now installed. Click on login, and the password is the username is admin, and our password is admin. So click on login, and we are now logged in. Cool. So this is our default WordPress installation, and this is our default landing page. This is what you're going to see if you install WordPress locally, which is amazing. So guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this current section. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be installing WooCommerce. So to do that, we are going to navigate to WordPress plugin page. Click on add new plugin, and when you get to this page, you search for WooCommerce. So let's search for WooCommerce. Okay, let's search WooCommerce. So let me restore my font size. My font size is a bit wide. Okay, so install the first index of the results, which is this particular one here. So it's currently installing. Is installing. So let's wait for that to be installed. Okay, so while that is processing, let's also open our folder. Don't forget we've created a new folder, WordPress 2. So I'm going to navigate to my folder. Let me navigate to my folder, which is what we have here. Let me close this page. since I don't need that tab anymore. So this folder, you need to drag it to your VS Code. So let me close my VS Code, then drag this folder into it. So I'm going to drag this folder into VS Code. So you can also do the same thing on your system, drag the folder to VS Code. Then once you do that, you are going to have these files, these parts. The WP admin is for the admin, the WP content is for the plugin and the themes, WP includes is for the included files, and these are our main primary files that power up the entire processes, most especially the WP config, which has our database integration, host, all those things. So nevertheless, let's go ahead and move down to WP content, WP plugins, and under the plugin section, we are going to install we are going to create our WooCommerce plugin here. But before we do that, we need to make sure our this thing is up to date, our WordPress WooCommerce. Okay, it says update fails. So what I can do is to reload my page. Seems like my internet is a bit slow. Okay, so now I changed my internet and everything works fine. So the next thing I'm going to do is to click on activate button to activate the WooCommerce plugin. So once the WooCommerce plugin is activated, then the next thing you would like to do is to create our folder, that is the payment gateway folder. But before we do that, it's required to set up some basic things. So let's click on set up my store. I'm just starting a business. Okay. Select your state. That's about demo. It's not really important to set the actual data. Then you can uncheck these plugins, click on continue, and that will process the details for you. So guys, the details is completed. So once this is done, let's choose our theme. So you can set storefront as your theme. So let's search for storefront. So storefront is by WooCommerce, which is highly recommended for us to use for this demo. So I'm going to click on installed, and now it is installing. Then once it's done installing, you activate the you activate the theme. So that will help us set the layout of our front end. Then we can inject the WooCommerce and also the payment gateway into it. So now this is done. Let's visit and see what we have. Okay, cool. So this is the basic WooCommerce storefront template that we are going to be working with. Okay, so the next thing we are going to be doing in the next section is creating our plugin folder, that is our payment gateway folder. Then assigning it to WooCommerce, and also creating the form input feed area to accept public key secret key from our plugin. Okay guys, see you in the next section. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be setting up the basic tools that is required for this development. So the first thing you would like to do is to navigate to extension, then search for WordPress. So when you search for WordPress, you can install the first one on this particular WordPress development extension. So this tool is enough. So when you have this and this, okay, you can also possibly also install this. I also use this, so you can also install this also. So once you are done with this 3 extension, you're fine. Then the next one you need to install is what is it called? Start plugin. So let's say plugin development. Search for plugin development. Let's see. Oh, it's not there. Plugin development. Okay, search for Elementor. Okay, so yeah, the plugin is developed by this guy. So let me search his name. So probably I'm gonna find it here. Paste. Okay, I think this is it. Yeah. So classic press snippets and auto completion. Yeah, so you can install this plugin. It's used for basic documentation of a plugin, as you can see, where you can input your plugin name and also your plugin data. So this is just what it does. Just no, it's a lifesaver. It makes sense. So let's install this. Then once this is installed, then the next thing is to navigate to your plugins folder. Inside your plugin folder, then you create a new folder. Before we create a new folder, let's check out our current plugin, current installed plugins. So as you can see, we have just 3 installed plugins. Then we are going to create a new plugin by creating a new folder, and this plugin will be called YouTube. Oh, sorry, I imagined tutorial. Let's call it tutorial payment or sample payment. Let me use Bigidroid payment, but I'm using Paystack in the background. Bigidroid payment, yeah. So once you create a folder, then create the file name Bigidroid payment.php. Yes. So once that is done, we are going to start our PHP tag. Then within this place, we are going to create the basic plugin snippets. So the plugin we installed that time, the extension we installed, the classic process is what is going to do this job for us. So you type start, then you scroll down to plugin. Then you click on enter. It's going to load the default snippet that you can use to do that. So here I'm gonna call it Bigidroid payment, and yeah, payment gateway. That's fine. Then plugin URL. Yeah, bigidroid.com. That's my website URL, and the author name is Adeleye Ayodeji. Okay, author link adeleyeayodeji.com. So author link is adeleyeayodeji.com. Okay, so this plugin, this plugin allow you to accept payment gateway, allow you to accept payments on your website using Bigidroid payment gateway. Okay, that's fine. Click on save. So that's Copilot. I'm very sure you're aware about that. So the next one is the text domain. So the text domain will be Bigidroid payments. So Bigidroid payments. Click on save. Then once that is done, you scroll down to the next line. Then in this line, we are going to check if this file is being accessed directly for security purpose. So we are going to pass on some security. So we check if the root directory is defined in WordPress. If it is not defined, then it's going to exist and give a message: you must not access this file directly. That's a security base. Then once this is done, the next thing you would like to do is to echo something. Let's just try to echo something just to make sure our plugin is really working. So echo working. So this I'm working, we are going to check it from what is it called, from the roots area, that is our source HTML. So let's click on save, then reload this page. Once you reload this page, activate the plugin. Oh, that message already sent. Yeah, that's true. So since that is not sending, let's just variable dump. So this should probably work. Let's see, reload. Okay, I think this works. So let's deactivate and activate it again. So it's just for debugging sake, nothing serious. Okay, it's still try to send the content. So this message is given out due to the header, that is the PHP header thing. I was already sent some things before getting my content, so it's not really a big deal. We're going to take it out. It's for debugging sake. So as you can see, we have what Bigidroid payments. That shows that it's working fine. So once that is done, the next thing you would like to do is to create the included file. So within this folder, we are going to create a new folder called includes. Then the includes, we have our main file. So let's call it main file.php. So the main file.php, we also have security check. So we're gonna have security check. Then we check if it is not defined, then we throw an error. Okay, so over here also we are going to check if we're going to create a class here, then check if the class exists over here. So to do this now, we're going to be doing this in the next section because this video is already getting longer. So see you guys in the next section. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be continuing from where we stopped in the last section. So we stopped at creating our main file, which is the main class, and also including it within this area. So to get started, the first thing we are going to be doing now is to navigate to the main file itself. Then within the main file section, we are going to create our class BigGDroid payment gateway. Then we're going to extend WC payment gateway. So we're going to have, let me declare my comment, BigGDroid payment gateway. So within here, I'm going to declare the author. So let me just have author Adeleye Adeji. That's fine. And let's have since 1.0.0. Click on save. Then within this place, I'm going to have class BigGDroid. BigGDroid. Okay, let me have underscore BigGDroid payment. BigGDroid payment gateway. BigGDroid payment gateway. Cool. Then BigGDroid payment gateway is going to extend WC payment gateway, because WC payment gateway is the primary payment gateway. So WC payment gateway CC. So we are going to use the CC to undo the extension on the credit card payment gateway. So we're going to use something related to credit card. Okay, so click on save, and then after saving that, we need to then go ahead to our main area, then include our file. So here we're going to check. So before we include the file, let's check if BigGDroid payment gateway exists. Though, because we are now extending this guy, we are still going to do some magic. But before we do that, let's first run this so that you also understand what I'm saying. If we run that within this code, within this current code section, it's not going to run because this hasn't loaded yet. So, but I just need to write it so you experience it as I'm also writing it. So check if the class exists. So this class, we check if it exists. So if this class does not exist, we're going to include the main file. So instead of using this pattern, let's try to define some constants. Let's try to define plugin constant. Define the plugin constant. Good. So define the plugin version. Okay, that's fine. The plugin payment gateway URL, the plugin payment gateway paths. Okay, so this three is fine. So copy the paths section and use it here. So we have this paths, then we have the include folder, and we have the main file.php. So click on save. So if I click on save and I head down to this page, so as long as this is already included within the section, then we can do some magic. But before we do the magic, let's first try to run it so that you can experience what I'm trying to show you guys. So if I save this now and I trigger this, that is activated. Okay, it's already activated. But if I reload this page, you are going to have an error. As you can see, this error is thrown, but because we did not have debug log enabled yet, so it's not going to show. So that's why I just wanted this to just happen real time without having everything 100% correct. So you enable your debug true, and debug display. So let's enable debug display, debug display. So let's say it's a true, debug display true, then debug log, debug log. Okay, so click on save. So display will display it on the screen, logging will log it into this content area that the display is going to log a new file here. So if I click on save and I reload, as you can see, it display the error. It says WC payment gateway not found. That's because WooCommerce hasn't processed before my plugin tried to extend the class. So the class hasn't been processed yet. So now if I save this, also you also find it in this debug log. This is debug.log. As you can see, this is it here. So you can also find the error here, and at the same time at the front end. So but for me, I normally use the debug log. So instead of display debug, I will just change this to false, so without showing it here. So if we reload, we have this error, but we have it here. If I remove it again and I try to process it, you have it. As you can see, it says this error. So to conquer this, all you need to do is on this page that we have class exists, whatever that we have here, we need to introduce init. So use plugin. In fact, it's even better to use plugins loaded. Yeah, let's use plugin loaded. So add action plugins loaded. Okay, so we're going to use plugins loaded. Then we are going to init big payment. So initialize the plugin. So here we check, as you can see, this is the best way to just do it. So plugins loaded, we check if all the plugin has been activated. So by then, this class of WooCommerce is already initiated. So once that is done, we have this method. So this method, we see this method. That's how WordPress works. As you can see, this method, we automatically see this method. So once this is done, once this is done loading, all the plugin is done loading, this action is going to fire. Then this my method is going to run. Then once it's run, it will check if WooCommerce is installed. This is WooCommerce functionality. It will check if WooCommerce is installed. So if WooCommerce is installed, then it's going to check if my class exists. Then if my class does not exist, it's going to add the main file. Perfect. So click on save, and let's take out what we have here. Click on save again and reload, and everything will be fine. As you can see, everything is fine once again. So once that is done, then we are going to also now proceed to the next section. So in the next section, we are going to learn how to do other things. So if WooCommerce, in the next section, we're going to check if WooCommerce is not installed, then throw some error on the screen so that we can see some other amazing things that we can do to show. Instead of passing it within this section, we won't pass it here. So we are going to check for WooCommerce plugin installed in a different scope and not inside this function scope. We're going to check it. Then if WooCommerce is not installed, then we are going to throw some error. That's okay, we install WooCommerce. Then else is going to do this checking. So that's what we're going to be doing in the next section. So thank you guys for taking your time to watch this current section. See you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be checking if WooCommerce is installed. Then if it is installed, we are going to add our class. But if WooCommerce is not installed, we are going to show some notice if WooCommerce is not activated also. So to do that, what we need to do is to separate this condition. So I'm going to cut this out from here, then move it above here, then close this statement, then also take out this, save, take it up. Okay, so within this place, I'm going to change this condition, this check if WooCommerce is active. So I'm going to check it with false condition, that is adding this exclamation mark. I'm checking if WooCommerce is not installed, then add notice. So add notice is going to send a trigger to this method. This method hasn't been created yet. So let's create this method. So here I'm going to create the method. That is, it's going to say big payment require WooCommerce to be installed and active. So click on save. Now this method is going to trigger once WooCommerce is deactivated. Now after that is done, we're also going to have it for else condition. So else, if everything is working fine, then we're going to move this add action plugins loaded to trigger our class. So I'm going to click on save, then go to my browser, reload. Now as you can see, okay, let me activate WooCommerce. Now WooCommerce is activated, everything is fine, no notification. Then if I deactivate WooCommerce, as you can see, it says big payment requires WooCommerce to be installed and active. So that's for the checking if WooCommerce truly exists and is also active. So that's how you can do the checking. You check if WooCommerce is not active, then drop this notice, else activate our custom payment gateway that we added. And here we have the content for the WooCommerce notice, which is a concatenation of HTML along with our query. Okay, so this is how this is done. So click on save. Though you can use another practice if you don't want to add HTML to your functions area. Yeah, you can use another practice. The practice will be a kind of template. So you can create templates here. Templates, and the templates we are going to have error or admin notice, then .php. Then within this template, we are also going to check for security. Then once that is checked, then you copy the content that we have here. Copy, Ctrl+C, move it down to notice, paste it here, and go back again to this place. Now take out this guy. Then once that is removed, within this place we are going to have OB start. That is start buffer by getting HTML content. Then within this place we are going to include the template file. So to include the template file, we are going to refer to our constants that we defined the other time, plugin path, this constant file. So we copy the constants, and here we are going to require the admin notice template. Then once this is passed, then here we pass in the big payments plugin path. Then we have the templates. Now payment plugin path is going to see the root part of the plugin. Then from the root part, navigate to templates. From templates, navigate to admin notice.php. Then after getting the content, get the content clean, then echo it. So once you get the content clean, it's going to stop the buffer and it's going to output what it has been buffed into the variable if we are assigning variable. But in this case, the output buffer content is going to be within this ob get content. Then we can echo it. So with this practice, you safely display your HTML through your PHP, which is what we have here. Cool. So when you click on save and reload, it's going to work. So let's try to run it and see if it's still working. So okay, activate. Okay, deactivate. Oh, it's not loading. Okay, so what could be wrong? We have this and we have this. Admin notice. Let me have a variable called HTML. Then let me echo I'm working and see what is happening. I'm working is fine. Then let's echo the HTML. Oh, looks like something is wrong with our code. Here we have templates, correct, and here we have admin notice.php. Okay, why is it not working? Let's echo here. I'm working. What could be wrong? Save, reload. Okay, so let me check this out and get back to you guys so we can learn together. Oh guys, so the problem we are having, fun enough, is I actually skip it totally. I skip my mind. We did not add require. So let's add require ones. So we have the 5 added ones. So the require ones is what I'm missing. And funny enough is I added it to the to my comment, require the admin notice template. So I didn't require it. Is that you use require or require ones? So you can use require ones or require. So this should work this time around. So click on save. Now let's go back again to our browser, reload. Now as you can see, I'm working is working. So let's take out the I'm working and let's see. So no one is perfect. I can also make a mistake and you guys will correct me. So as you can see, now we are able to fix this ourselves, which is cool. We are all learning. So click on save, go back to this place, reload. Now we have what big drop payment require WooCommerce to be installed. So that's the HTML part, and here you can pass in your JavaScript. You can do any manipulation, which will give you more room to do things. Let's say I want to add an Ajax, jQuery. So jq doc. So the way jQuery work in WordPress is this has to be in this pattern jQuery. So we have the jQuery as the real jQuery in word and not in $sign. So when you have it this way, then you can accept the $sign over here. Then once that is done, let's say I want to change this text font to bold. So let's say I target my P, or I target this notice error. So notice error, what I'm going to do is set P in notice error bold. Okay, so let's see. As you can see, notice error P font with bold, reload, and that worked perfectly. So this is how you can pass in jQuery or script into your HTML template pattern, which is really cool. So doing this in PHP will not be flexible, but having a template separately, then calling it this way, will make your life easier. So click on save, and that is done for WooCommerce installs or not install checking that we added. So in the next section, we are going to work on, let me activate it again. So in the next section, we're going to work on adding settings URL into our plugin. Okay guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this current section. See you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be adding settings URL. Something like this is what we are going to be passing down to right after they deactivate or before they deactivate. But let's just go ahead and proceed on adding a settings URL. So I'm going to put my code now. Then navigate to plugins, big drop payments, includes mainfile.php. Oh, sorry. Let's go to the root directory first, because our mainfile.php is extending the WC gateway credit card. So let's add the link URL onto the root part of the plugin. That is this current section we have. This is the root part. Okay, so to get started, here we check if WooCommerce is empty. If WooCommerce is not in the array, then show some notice, and if it is there, it's going to initialize our payment. So right after this initialization of payment class, let's also add settings URL. So let's add settings URL. So to add settings URL, we are going to be using add filter. To add filter, we alter an array of data that is going through a particular loop. So it's going to send this data back in an array. So this add filter, that's what it basically does. It's alter data that is an array data, or any data you that supports filtering or rearrangements, something like that. That's what this add filter does. It's alter the data, then you can inject your own into the array, then it will automatically accept and run it. Okay, so here now we're going to be using the action plugin action links. Then after targeting plugin action links, then it's going to get our base plugin base file. So this plugin base is the base directory of our plugin, and it's going to get the right base data for the plugin, just for the URL to work efficiently. So this is how this is done. Then this method, we need to create it so that we can run it also. So whenever this triggered, this is going to pull the data from payment settings link and send the array back to where it's coming from. So here now we have these payment settings. So as you can see, we have payment settings. Then here we are accepting a filter data coming from WordPress, and here we have our own settings URL, which includes this href admin.php, the page we want this URL to be. So the page is WP settings and tab is checkout, and section is payment. So hopefully this is going to work correctly, but we haven't actually defined our payment ID at the moment, so this will probably be showing for or not loading at all. But we're just going to arrange this for now and set it there. Now after your link is done, then the array data that is coming from the source, we are going to push our new settings URL into this arrays of links. So now once we push it into this arrays of links, then this links now has our own links, and is going to return back the array to where it's coming from. So as you can see, this is the settings. So I'm going to click on save and reload my page. As you can see, now we have what we have settings URL, and if you click on it, it's going to load up this page. Now at the moment, just as I've told you guys, we have not created or specified the ID for the payment that we're working on at the moment, so it's probably be blank or not even displaying anything at all. But at the moment, as you can see, it is blank on payment. But in the next section, we are going to learn how to register our properties to support the standard WooCommerce payment gateway what's it called, layouts. So the next section, we're going to learn how to do that. Okay guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this current section. See you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be registering our properties, that is the necessary properties for our plugin, that is our payment plugin, to work on WooCommerce. So we are going to be specifying some basic properties first. Then later, we are also going to dive into the methods that we need to pass. We can't do everything in a video, but we're going to be working on it asynchronously, that is step by step. So now let's dive straight into it. So the first thing we need to do is to go to the main file.php, where we declare our payment gateway. So on this page, if you navigate to page stack, let's go to page stack, development, documentation. Let's navigate through it so that we can see what we need to specify it. You get on the page. My network is a bit slow this time around, I don't know why. Let me pause the video, then resume once it's done. Okay, so here I'm on the doc page. So as you can see, this is the doc. Let's go to the home. Let me try to go to the doc home so you can see how I got to that page. So I click on accept payment, then accept payment. Okay, good. So on this page, we are going to look at the core keys that we need to add to our class. So here now, you will notice we have all these params. So all this one is not really necessary for public key or properties. And you get what I'm saying? So all this is just an argument you can pass into the transaction initialization. So what we really need here now is the public key and also the secret key for verification of our payment. So public key, secret key. So let's add that. Okay, so here we're going to declare the public key, then we declare the property. So it's a public property. So public key, yes. So you can also assign a variable to it. So let's say variable string. So it's gonna be a string for the public key, and then for the secret key also the same thing. Yeah, so once public key and secret key is defined, then the next one we need to also define is test mode, if test mode is enabled. So test mode. So here we're gonna check for test mode. Okay, so test mode will be a boolean. So it's gonna check if it is true or it is false, or we also check if it is on or off. So there's a way WooCommerce handle test mode. So it can either be string or boolean. So once we have our public key, we have our secret key, we have our test mode. So how this will work is we are going to have two settings. We're going to have public key for live, that is live public key, and also test public key. If live mode is on, that is if test mode is off, then we use the live public key as a replacement for this public key. But if test mode is on, we use the test public key as a replacement for this public key. So that's how it's going to also be for this secret key. So for the public key and the secret key, then the test mode is the major thing that we needed for this class to initialize the pop-up payments. That is, for now, that's what we need for now. So in case you have a different payment gateway that you want to integrate, so check carefully what is needed to use, so you can include it in the property. Then you later accept this data whenever you want to use it after you've declared it, and also assign it in the constructor. So in the next section, we are going to learn how to assign this data in the constructor, though we won't be able to do that yet because our feeds are not ready, but we'll just proceed and see how it's going to be. We can dive into the form method before passing the data into the constructor. So we can try to work on the form feed first, which is really good. So in the next section, we're going to learn how to do that. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be introducing constructor, which will help us assign our variables, assign our ID for our payment gateway. So previously we used Bigidroid payment for the ID. So we have Bigidroid payments here. So let's maintain this Bigidroid payments. So I'm going to copy this data as my ID. So I already copied it. So within this place, I'm going to introduce the constructor. Then the constructor, okay, correct. So the constructor will we assign the ID for the payment gateway that we're working on. So here we have ID. So we assign the ID. So target this dot ID, then Bigidroid what payment, which is correct. So this ID that we have here is the ID that will be assigned for my payment gateway. So it is this ID that we will use to determine, okay, this is for Bigidroid payment, this is for Flutterwave. So this ID is very, very important. Okay, so once that is done, the next one that we're going to pass in is the feeds. So we need to introduce as feeds. Later we're going to work on icon, but for now we don't have an image, so we can do that later. So now let's pass in the as feeds. So as feeds. Okay, sorry. So as feeds. So as feed is going to pick from here. As feeds, correct. So as feed is going to be true. as feed true. Then the next one is the method title. Method title. So method title will be Bigidroid Payment Gateway. So this is translation method, though it's not really compulsory for you to use the same thing. You can pass the string normally, but it is just it's just okay for you to use this method for translating purpose in case in the future you want to translate this text to other language. Okay, so this is for the method title, and after the title is declared, which is Bigidroid Payment Gateway, and here is my text domain. So text domain is what I declared here. If you remember, text domain is what we declare here, Bigidroid Payments. And you can also make your text domain definition. So here I'm gonna define Bigidroid text domain. So Bigidroid underscore text domain. Yes. So then you assign the text domain that we have here. Yes. So then you copy this, Ctrl C, then go to your file, then replace what you have here with this. So this will make it more unique, which is okay. So after setting your title, then the next one we need to set is the description. Description, method description. So here now we have method description. You will notice that all these methods that we are using, they are identifying that it is declared because it is being extended from WC Gateway credit card. So that's where this hide is coming from. The house feed, the method title, method description, they are coming from WooCommerce Payment Gateway, which is good. So this plugin allows you to accept payment on your website using Bigidroid Payment Gateway. Cool. So you can also change the text, which is really great. So now the next one we're going to do now is the support. So the support is, there are a lot of things WooCommerce support, and it's still even counting. So support. So you can support so many things, products, this and that. But in this case, we have what? Products. So you can pass in so many things like products, subscription. Let's say subscription. So subscription, you can accept subscription. You can accept so many things that is possible. So let me just copy those possible variants of data that you can accept. So I'm just gonna copy now and drop it into this array so that you can see how possible it is. So as you can see, you can accept products, tokenization, subscription cancellation, subscription suspension. So many things is added and as a support. This is from the basic WooCommerce support system. So you can just pass it in, and there are so many ones that are still also possible that you can add. But primarily, we are working with this. We are working with the products. So this, I've not really used this most time, but primarily I work with products. So this current pattern, you can comment it, and maybe in the future, if you need it, you can just come over here and see how it is done. So you get how this is passed. So let me take out this comma and click on save. So as you can see now, we are supporting products, which is good. So once that support part is done, then the next one is our feed initialization. Yes, our feed initialization. So the feed initialization, we are going to learn how to do that one in the next section. I don't want to bombard the sections together, so you guys we have full understanding. So the first one we have now is the ID, which is the ID of our payment gateway. Then we have as feed. Then we have the method title, method description, and here we have the support. And in this case, we are supporting products. And if you are supporting subscription, you can uncheck for subscription, and it's going to work for you. So guys, so that's for these constructor property. So in the next section, we're going to learn how to add from feed into our our WooCommerce payments page, because at the moment, if we save and go to our WooCommerce payments page, we should see something. Yeah. So if I go to WooCommerce payment gateway section. Okay, it is not visible yet. That's because we haven't registered it. So at the moment, it hasn't been registered yet on WooCommerce payment gateway. So let's do the registration like right now. Let's do the registration right now. So I'm going to register this payment gateway. So here we are going to call register WooCommerce payment gateway. So register WooCommerce payment gateway. Then we're going to call WooCommerce payment gateways. So that will be add filter. So add filter WooCommerce payment gateway. The Bigidroid payment gateway is the gateway we are adding. It's also an array. So I'm going to drag it down so that we can pass it here. So we had a function, and here is the method, that is the gateways that we already have. You can also call it method, but I love calling it gateways. So let's have it as gateways. So here now, the existing gateway that we have in the array, then we had Bigidroid payment gateway to hit. So you need to be very certain about your class, that is the one you use to extend the main WooCommerce payment gateway, which is this. So you can come over here and copy it, just to be very sure. So I love to do that a lot. I need to be very sure that, okay, this is really correct. So now this is now passed. Click on save. Now our payment gateway is now added to WooCommerce payment gateway. So click on save. Then if you go back again to this page and reload, we should see Bigidroid. So it's loading. Still loading. Okay, now Bigidroid payment gateway is added. As you can see, this is it over here. Bigidroid payment gateway. So we are still working on some things. So hopefully when we're done, we'll see more details. As you can see, this is our payment gateway page, but at the moment it is still blank. So we are working very hard on it to make sure everything is working fine. So in the next section, we're going to learn how to add form feeds and how form feeds can be assigned, and also how to retrieve it. So we're going to do all this thing gradually. So see you guys in the next section. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be continuing from where we stopped in the last section. So last section we stopped at setting up our form feed. So in this section, we are going to continue and set up our form feeds. But before we continue, let me confirm my recording has started. Okay, that started. Cool. The last one I did, it wasn't saved. Okay, so we stopped here. So we stop at declaring our ID, declaring our hash feeds, declaring our method type 2, declaring our method description, and also the supports. And I told you guys you can enable this at your at your will. But what we primarily support for this course is products. So now moving on, we need to pass in some form feed into this page so that we can set up our public key and also secret key. So to do that, what we need to do is to head down to our ID here and comment here, add, what is it called? We need to add form feed. So let's declare that here, add form feeds. So this will load the init form feed method, which is what we declare now. So here we have the form feed. So then within our method, we're gonna declare our variable form feeds. Then within our form feed declaration, we're gonna apply filter, which is very important. Then the filter that we're going to be applying, we're gonna make this hook our our text domain. So our text domain is Bigidroid payment. So we are going to name this Woo Bigidroid payment. So let's call it underscored. So yeah, Woo Bigidroid payment. Then we add a command. Then within this place we pass in our array. Then inside this array we are also going to declare our properties, and that is our key and also the values. So this has been generated by Copilot. Then we're going to modify it. So let me explain how this works. So here we declare our method, which is the init form feed method. Then within the init form feed method, we declare our form feed variable. Then within our form feed variable, we apply filters. That is, we assign it to our variable. Now, reason we need to use this apply filter is for other WooCommerce plugin or other plugin to alter our data, that is our array data. So in case they want to add a new form feed, they can do that by calling this apply filter, because primarily you can actually do it this way. You can point the array directly and it's going to work perfectly, but this is not a good idea. It is really important to enable other developers to extend your projects. So that is why we added apply filter, so that they can extend the form feed. Now this form feed entails the enable, that is the enable input feed. That is going to be a checkbox. Now they click on enable or disable, and by default we're going to enable it by default we can make it no, so it doesn't automatically trigger. So here we have it as no. Then we have the title, we have the description, we have the PK, we have the public key, we have the secret key, we have the text mode. Now let's correct this. So for page tag we have live public key. So let's change this to live public key, live public key. Then we have secret key, live secret key, then live secret key. Okay, cool. Then this test mode, let's move it up. Test mode will not be a checkbox. Instead, it's going to be a drop down. So here, test mode select, you select for test mode. So we can have yes or no. And by default, yes is selected, which is cool. So if I save now and I also return our defined form feed, we need to return it to WooCommerce, which is very important. So return form feed to WooCommerce. So we need to return it to WooCommerce. Okay, so once that is returned, then the next thing we need to do is to reload our page. So go back to your page, reload, then we should have this, which is cool. We have the enable, we have the test mode selection, we have the title, we have the description, we have the live public key, and we have the live secret key. So the next one we need to add is the test public key and test secret key. So let's do that. So here we have test PK key, text PK key, and also the test secret key. Okay, cool. So we need to add a command here, which is important. So if you click on save and you reload, you should have that there, which is cool. So if we try to save this form now, it's not going to work. If I click on enable and I add something here, let's add something here. If I click on save changes, it's not going to save. That's because we haven't passed the instructions to save our form data. So the next thing we are going to pass now is processing the admin option. So here we're going to have process admin option. So okay, let's the plural options. Then we're going to have the add action, and the add action is going to be the WooCommerce update option payment gateway. Then our ID, which is the ID for the option key. Then this process admin option is going to be sent down to WooCommerce. That is, our data will be sent down to WooCommerce to process it using the process admin option. The inside process admin option is already initiated on WooCommerce. That is the core WooCommerce settings API itself. So that is where this will be sent to. So we don't need to declare this method. The method is already declared. So if we click on save, and yeah, let's reload the page and let's see what happened again by entering some things. So let's use this, click on save changes, and as you can see, it is now saving. So the next thing we are going to do now is to toggle on and toggle off test text secret key, or what's it called, text public key. That is, once it is text mode, we only enable text key. When it is text mode off, that is no, we enable the live public key. And we can also change this to live and test. So test mode, yes or no, or we can just change this to mode. Let's just change this to mode, or payment mode. Yeah, payment mode, live. Sorry, this is live and this is test. Click on save, reload, then we should have exactly payment mode test live. Cool. Once it's a test, we have test display. Once it is live, we have live displayed. So it's going to be a toggle. So to do that, we need to process admin scripts. So in the next section, we are going to learn how to process admin script. That is, we are going to listen to this event to toggle on or toggle off this guy. Okay, guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this current section. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, we are going to be toggling on and toggling off our separate live and text input feed, so it can be more focused. We don't cause distraction. So to do that, it's very simple. We need to navigate to our page. Then above our construction, above our construct, we are going to pass in admin scripts. So within this place, we're going to process admin script, though the script isn't defined yet, but let's just pass it admin script. Then within here, we declare the admin script. Okay, then we enqueue, then we enqueue the admin script, admin script. So let's make it more strict. Okay, so admin script is defined, then plugin URL is not defined yet, and plugin version isn't defined. So let's go and define our plugin URL. So we go back to this page, and okay, we already have it, payment plugin URL. So let's update it. Then for the version, let's also pick the version. So version is this, but instead of using this static version, I'm gonna use time, so it can be changing and not catching the JavaScript. So as you can see, this is the plugin directory URL. So the plugin directory URL that is send down the current plugin URL. Then this asset needs to be created. So we need to create it here. Create a new folder called assets. Then asset JS. Inside asset we have JS. Then inside JS we need to pass in admin.js. So admin.js. And don't forget, after sending this to WooCommerce, we also requested for a dependence of jQuery. So we are bringing in jQuery into this admin.js. So on this page now, we are going to be initializing jQuery. So let's just add a comment called bigdroid admin script. Okay, so bigdroid admin script. Then within this place, we're gonna have jqdoc. Then the jqdoc, within here, we're gonna change this to this pattern. This is what is recognized on WordPress. That is jQuery, the name itself, and not $sign. Then you can accept your $sign right after here. So just to very sure that the script is working, you need to send an alert and just display something. The jQuery is ready. I think this is fine. So click on save and also save it from here. Don't forget, we must make sure we call our hard action admin enqueue scripts. Then we pass in our enqueue script data. So click on save, then reload this page. Let's see if there will be any alerts. So reload. As you can see, jQuery is ready. That means is working fine. So we are going to proceed to our jQuery area. Then we are going to target our payment mode. So let's inspect this page. Let's inspect this page and see what we have here. So what we have here is this ID, WooCommerce Big Droid payment test mode. So copy the ID. So we can use that ID. Then here you can change this to console. Let's switch this to console. Okay. Instead, let me just bring it downward. So we can make it very straightforward. So this is it here. So within this place now, I'm going to target change. So on change on this ID, so JQ change, then we have this. So but in case you are looking how I was able to bring up those shortcode, that is this JQ data, I use this extension. Let me show you the extension that I use. Just search jQuery, then it's going to bring it up for you, jQuery code snippet. So this is what I'm currently using. As you can see, it works really fine and it's very fast. So JQ change, we bring on the change event. Then within this place, let's just log that. Okay, I'm working. I love to do that a lot. So click on save, reload, and let's change this data. As you can see, it's changed real time. As you can see, this is the change here. Let me zoom my console. So you can see that, as you can see, it is changing real time. So once that is working, what we need to do now is to get the value of the selected option. So this dot value, then don't forget the value that we have within this selection is yes or no. So if it is no, that means test. If it is yes, that means it is test. If it is no, that means it is live. don't get confused. So here now we are going to check if the selected option is yes. Check if it is yes. So if it is yes, then we are going to do something. So if it is yes, let's confirm if this is correct, because I don't know if it is correct. This is generated by the Copilot. So if the value is yes, that means test is active. So now let's locate the first feed, the first TR of this feed. So this is the TR, but for the very first thing, it says the closest was TR. Closest TR. This is the test. Let's go for the test. Test. Okay, I think this is public key, right? That is the secret. Let's go to secrets. So the secret we have this search. Okay, correct. It's very, very correct. So now if it is yes, it's going to show everything on that test. But if it is yes, it's going to hide everything on that secret. But this secret, I don't think is correct. Let's confirm our live secret is correct. Okay, it's not correct. So if I copy this ID and I search, you see it's not there. So Copilot might generate some wrong information sometimes. So here I'm going to, what I just copied is a live public key. So I'm going to change this to public key. So highlight everything, paste. So now it is now Big Droid payment live public key that I copied from here. So make sure you do the same thing. Now do the same thing for the secrets. Copy and secret, highlight everything with Ctrl D, then Command D on Mac. So click on save. Now that should work. Okay, the secret work, but the test public key is not correct. So let's go for the test public. Copy everything, then update it all to this. Click on save, then we have this updated version. So if it is changed, we check, then we do this, else we do this. So click on save, then reload the page, drop this down, and if I change this to live, we have live. If I change this to test, we have test. But if I reload, everything loads up, which is not really good. So what we need to do now is to copy everything we have here. We need to copy everything we have here and assign it as okay. So what we can do is to just create a variable to listen to this guy. So instead of targeting this way, so copy this ID, yes, click on save, highlight everything, copy, then move it above as a variable that is init data. So init from init test mode check. So init test mode check will be let test mode. You can make it unique. Bigidroid. Let's say Bigidroid payment mode check, yeah, equals to, so let's use lambda function, then we paste in this guy. But before you, okay, yeah, it's correct, since we have this declaration between our jQuery. So here we check, so this is the default checking. So, and this default checking is going to be initialized right here. So when you reload your page, this is going to check, and when you do this, it's also going to check. So we have this to check here. If there's a change, we check. If there is no change, we check. That is when you reload your page, we check. So click on save, reload. When you reload, it is active. As you can see, we have it here. And if I change to live, we have live. If I change to test, we have test. So let's call this test pk, and live, test sk, save. Now we have this, and if I change it to live, it switch. So here we can pass in live pk, live sk, just to see the difference. As you can see, we have this, it's working real time. Cool, that's amazing. So now this is how to manipulate the view for your form feed. Okay guys, thank you so much for taking your time to watch this current section. See you guys in the next one. Bye. Thank you so much for checking this course out. The complete lesson is on bigidroid.com. Yes, where you're going to learn how to do the rest of the plugin development, that is the WooCommerce payment gateway development. So, and I hope this is going to be of a great value to you. So do well to enroll and join me in this course. See you there. Bye.